Hello, welcome. I am Gillian Maxwell, a founding member of the Psychedelic Association of Canada. Welcome back to the fourth in our series of our Wisdom Keepers series. Today we're going to talk with Jazmin about plant medicine, nourishing our holistic pathways. And just to let you know a little bit about Jazmin before we get into talking to her. Um, by the way, she's a member of our board at the Psychedelic Association. She's on a leave at the moment, but we know that she'll be back, and we're delighted that she's here today. She was born and raised on Lake of the Woods, Ontario, and is of Norway House Cree Creation. Cree Nation. I'll do that again. She was born and raised on the Lake of the Woods, Ontario, and is of Norway House Cree Nation. She focuses on boreal forest ethnobotany, archaeology, and cultural anthropology. She studies plant medicine and was taught by Maestro Juan Flores of Mayan to Yaku in Peru. Jazmin is also a student of boreal forest plant medicines. She shares plant medicine teachings working throughout Northern Ontario and Canada. Jazmin has shared knowledge in the UK to present at the Breaking Convention conference in 2019. She works as a speaker and as a consultant integrating Western and traditional knowledge for the remediation of type 2 diabetes and associated illnesses. She's growing her healing center, Boom Bay Integrative Healing on Lake of the Woods, Kenora, Ontario. She's also a board member of the Psychedelic Association of Canada. And welcome, Jazmin.
Yay, thanks for having me.
Thanks for
This is
being here.
lovely.
We're ex
Lovely.
we're excited to have you. And first of all, let's just talk a little bit more about you. And that is quite a beginning to your life that you have had, and how you seem to be the bridge in many ways for many things. Perhaps we could talk a little bit about that.
Oh, well, when I hear the biography, I
Mm.
I'm always so overwhelmed because I'm like that's actually me. And when we feel down or a little bit out of ourselves, it's always nice to hear what we have done in the past. What I do is strictly based on my own personal life experiences. So going to university, being in the bush, that's what we call it here, being with the forest, and then spending time in the jungle. That's a special thing, I think, as well. That's really made me who I am. That's how I feel. Like it's made me um, more appreciative of my place in the world.
Does it feel, is there a difference from being in your forest to being in the jungle? Does it feel different?
Very, very much so. Yeah. Um, Really, like in my forest right now, we're probably at like 70-80% humidity, which is a very high humidity. Like, and that's what forests really, really are. Like I go outside, my hair is huge. But when I go into Peru, I go to the place of the boiling river. So there's a river of boiling water.
Yeah.
There isn't volcanic action for like 700 kilometers, like
Mm.
around.
Whoa.
So it's quite the anomaly, this place. So when I go in, my hair is huge. Like you can't even, you step out of the vehicle, out of the air conditioning, it's just humidity everywhere. So the heat itself is it is a thing to take in. Like you take in the steam when you're there. And I got to swim in the boiling river once when there was enough rainfall. Like you
Uh-huh.
swim in it for like 20 minutes and it's phenomenal. You can't even feel your clothing on you. It's so hot to swim in a warm pool like that. And it's kind of scary. Like you have to be very careful. You have to get out, get in and then get out as much as you can quickly. Um, but there is a stark difference between the water there and the forest here. So
Mm.
the water in the forest here is going to be full of critters that could make you sick, will make you sick all the time. Because our ponds, they're always resting, and that's where a lot of my plant medicine is, in the swampier kind of areas. And so you have to be very careful. But there, the water is so clean. Like drinking the water, you don't need to boil the water. It came from the boiling river.
Wow.
So the water is very, very clean. And I have water that I've kept, and it's totally nothing in it. And I've kept it for 6 years now. Mind you, my teacher told me that you want to get rid of the water. If you ever take any home, you want to make sure you got to send the water back home to Mayantiyaku. So you just pour the water outside and it'll make its way back. That's what he said.
Amazing.
And it's unfortunate because because we lost him last year. So he passed away. He's the late Maestro Juan Flores. Um, Very heartbreaking, and I still haven't come to terms with that
Mm.
just yet. Um, it'll take some time.
It does.
Mhm.
And you never quite get over, never quite. Just
I
a
don't
little
think
bit
so.
left. No. How did
Yeah.
you meet him? How did you find him?
Um, I saw this documentary by a man named Jim Sanders, and he has a healing center about an hour from where I am,
Oh,
closer to Winnipeg. Yeah, and he is a student of Maestro Juan Flores, and he made a documentary called Tonki, and I watched clips of it from YouTube here and there, and I'm like, I need to meet this man. So I just up and left in 2013. I flew down to Peru to this healing. I found the healing center. I just booked myself in, me and my husband, and we stayed there for about a week. And the time that we were there was quite auspicious because it was a time when all of the masters were getting their coronas and their kuchmas to say that they were master healers. So it was their graduation ceremony. I can't believe they let me in because I've tried to go to their graduation ceremonies, up until the year Maestro passed. And I could never get in ever again. You have to be invited in. So it just never worked out. But that time it worked out, and we got to meet numerous healers, and that we're still friends with to this day.
mm,
And I really appreciate them, all of them. They all have just profound knowledge,
mm,
profound wisdom that you want to hold on to every word that they've given you.
mm.
They gave me some really great advice. Like one maestra said to me, watch, observe, just watch what's going on. Just spend your time watching, because time will slow just a little bit. It'll slow down for those moments. So, even now in this moment, we could slow the time down, and we can be with each other and be with everyone, um, and really put ourselves into the moment.
Mm.
That's kind of what she was saying. And I really
Beautiful.
appreciate that even to this day.
I just was talking to a Cree woman the other day who was more or less deaf from birth, and she has some hearing, but limited. And so she developed instead incredible skills of observation. And she's a very wise person. It's interesting to hear you say that. So do you just ask somebody like Juan Flores to be your teacher? Does he pick you as his student? How does that work?
Well, I asked when I went there in 2013, I asked, and he told me no. I
Oh,
was I was in a really hard way. I was in a very hard way. I was asking him for healing, begging. It was like I was not confident in myself enough. Um, and then so he told me no. And I didn't let that discourage me. 6 months later, I went back to Peru he told me I needed to go there for like 3 months for my healing, but I could only make it about a month and a half, like about 40 days or something, 36 days. Um, and while I while I was there, I think my second week there, I asked Jim Sanders to translate for me. And I asked him if he could ask the maestro if I could become an ayahuasquera. And then maestro said yes. That that was all it was. Like you physically ask, and then he's like, okay, and you make the agreement, and that's how I started learning. And really what the learning was is I began to sing because I was just deathly afraid of singing or doing anything like that. You just get very self-conscious. You're like, oh, I am not good enough. I don't have a beautiful voice. Yeah, you don't have to. We all have a terrible voice. That's what I tell everybody. I'm like, you all got a bad voice. Just use it. Who cares? Just do it anyway.
Thank you so much for the reminder, Jasmine, because in the flurry of starting today, I forgot to ask you for a
I
prayer
know.
or for you to sing. So would you do that for us now? Would you be able
Yeah,
to?
I thought I would curve us a little bit
Thank you.
because I've been watching.
Teamwork.
Yeah. Okay, maybe just this is one of the songs that I learned in our forest. And I learned how to sing like this because of being in the jungle. And it's not because of the jungle, but it's because of the power of everything. It's the power of being there that allowed me to be able to hear what's here. So this was in 2021. No, 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 no. This was in 2020, February, I think 20th, 2020. I was in Kingfisher Lake doing plant medicine sessions, and there was this boy, like a man who was really sick with a really bad cold. He could hardly breathe. He couldn't anything whatsoever. And I just so happened to have a medicine that I kept and I took with me everywhere because I didn't want to get a cold. I didn't want to get sick at all. So I gave him this medicine and he was like, "Oh, thank God." I'm like, "I know, that's how I feel. That's how I feel about that plant medicine is thank God I know about this." This plant medicine comes from the swamps in the boreal forest and it grows in a rhizome. I should have brought a piece out, it doesn't matter. Um, but we use it for everything. It works for cold sores, it works for colds, it works for literally everything. That's what we use it for. And so I heard this song when I was in Kingfisher Lake about this. And I just heard the melody at first, and then I put words to it. And the words I put to it were Spanish words, but it's not. It's the name of the plant medicine is called wike. And wike is my grandfather would use it. It grows by wild rice. It's very prevalent in this area, and it can be prevalent in just north of the Amazon as well. Wike wike protector, wike wike poderoso. Hi na 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 na. Ri 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 dai dai dai. Wike wike protector. Wike wike poderoso. Hi na 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 na. Ri 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 dai 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 dai. Dai dai ri ri dai dai dai. Hi na 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 dai. So I hope that you guys would hear the gratitude that I have for that plant in general. And that's what I heard when I was in Peru and learning about the songs in general, is I learned my great gratitude for many of the plants that I had drank there. And I drank quite a few 20 or so. Um, but that's what like I'm saying Wike is the great protector and is very powerful. And it is. I didn't get no COVID during the COVID times. A month after I was in Kingfisher Lake and that young man was really sick with that really bad cold, I got shut down. I couldn't fly north anymore. March 12th, 2020. And I
Yeah.
was there a month earlier. And when I got back to the office March 12th, my boss was like, where are you going? And I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. I just came back. And he's like, good, because you're not going anywhere. And it was 3 years until I was permitted to leave at all because the restrictions lasted a really long time in the north where I was flying to.
And how did you keep connected to your teacher, to Juan Flores?
2019 was the last time that I saw a maestro.
Mm.
And at that time, I was asking him about how to come off of Suboxone. Are you familiar with Suboxone? Yeah. Uh, Coming off methadone and Suboxone, they have different temperaments, I guess you could say.
And for
But
anybody listening, these are sort of poor substitutes for opioids for heroin users.
right.
And
So
fentanyl users too. They use them for fentanyl as well.
I think so. But
Yeah.
I think you re require a larger dose. I'm not sure because at the time when I was, deeply learning about it, I'm not sure what Juan Flores said about it, but he said that you could go, you could drink some of the plant medicine and go on to Suboxone, and be intermittent about it. And I
Mm.
had written it down so that I could remember, keep a book of all my learnings. But you can go in and out, he said. You could take the plant medicine for the times that you're not taking the Suboxone or methadone. You could go in and out. And so that was pretty fascinating, but I'd never seen anyone do that. I've only ever experienced people coming straight off and that's it.
Yeah.
Like just off and whatever medication. It could be things like prednisone, even like
Yeah.
just steroid, where they just cold turkey it and then they're hurting really bad.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and prednisone's a really powerful one because people think it's so inert, and it's not necessarily that inert. It's a very powerful steroid. I know someone that was on it for like 30 years and he came off of it and nearly killed him.
I didn't
Nearly
know that
killed
was
him.
possible to be on it for that long.
Yeah,
Eh,
it's not supposed to be.
no, no.
No,
And
but
how did you tell us about your work with people with opioid dependency? How did that come about?
um it's kind of in this same way where it's like I could offer an option. You could do this or you could do this. Like, and if you want to come off, you can, you know, I can offer the teachings, but I've never personally experienced it. And that's why I like to promote myself as a healer. Like, I would love to be a master healer, but I have to be able to heal. Like you have to be, like if you heal a scab, like if you get cut and you have a scab, you're healing, not anybody else. You're the one who's doing the healing. So you got to learn to be a master healer at it. And
Mhm.
even for myself, like I have my own struggles where I'm learning how to be a master healer. And I say it like that because there's always so many struggles when it comes to healing. There's so many like psychologically, like, so I don't know what it's like to come off of an opioid, but I know options that you could take, and I know the direction that you're probably going to go. You're probably going to go, and it's dark. And having anything positive beside you is very necessary. Anything that can help to lift you when you're down, because it's heavy down there.
Yes, of course it is. And
Mhm.
so how does it work? And what kind of results have you had?
Almost no results, almost none. like someone who's willing to come off of an opioid will get off of it themselves.
Mm.
Like I know one young man who came off of Suboxone and methadone and just quit it cold turkey. And he said he just didn't want to do it anymore. And really what I did for him was I brought him to an underground ayahuasca ceremony and I gave him a ceremony. And then I'm like, well, if I see you in another year, that would be wonderful. If I don't see you, okay, that's fine. And all I could do was pray for him. That was everything. Like praying and having an intention and being like, hey, you can do this, but I don't know. And then he phone called me a year later. He was phone calling me from Costa Rica. He went to an ayahuasca retreat in
Yeah,
Costa Rica, and it was so shocking for me. It was so shocking. I'm like, did you actually just do that? He just pulled himself off these drugs because when I first saw him, he was at his home, at his mother's home, and he was in a hard way. He was very pudgy and he was getting fat, and he's a thin built guy now. Um, he was really pudgy, and all I could do was pray for him, give him a little bit of plant medicine, and then I don't know what's going on with you. There's not much I can do. And then the only thing really I could do, that's a success that I saw is when somebody decided to take the healer on themselves. And if they didn't want to, they never did. Like if you want to, you will. And that's what I see at like my local treatment center on it's called Washishkanigam, Rat Portage. There's a treatment center there, and everybody who comes off of drugs or alcohol or weed or whatever it is, they want to. If you don't want to,
that's
there's
right.
no hope. There's no hope.
That's right. That's why we discovered harm reduction to keep them alive and to keep them as healthy and safe as possible until they're able to choose.
Yeah, it's I think the choice is the deciding factor, right? And
Totally.
sometimes people don't have a thing to live for. Like they don't want to.
That's
Like
right.
I try to convince others that no, there's an option. If you want, you can go take ibogaine. And then I try to lead them to centers that are in Mexico, because ibogaine's nearly 100% effective.
It is.
And it used to be very legal here in Canada up
Oh,
until what,
no,
2018? It's terrible, terrible, because it's so effective. Why? Why? Why couldn't we help anybody?
I don't know.
We got so many problems. Like I drove downtown Vancouver. You're probably familiar, Jillian. Um, Downtown Vancouver, everybody's asleep, standing up. And that's really foreign to me because I live in the bush. I live in the forest. I don't see people sleeping standing up in the trees. Although that would be a cool thing. Maybe one day once my healing center is built, I'll have sleeping standing people here.
And so we could get into the politics, but we probably won't about Ibogaine and why it was banned and all of that jazz. But so what you're saying is people that don't have a will to live will not choose. And so is that what, in your experience, the plant medicines do? It gives them a connection that they
Yeah,
know
that's
it,
right.
they find a light in that darkness. How would you describe
Yeah.
it?
That's a really good way to put it. There's a light in the darkness. If you
Mm,
work with the plants, touching them, bathing with them, you don't have to necessarily drink them. You can just touch them, be with them. Um, you can have the bugs consume you, but as long as you're with the plants, it's a really beneficial thing. I think I mean, forest therapy is what we would focus on at our healing center is spending time in the forest and having the forest do the work. Like that's what the plants taught me in Peru as well, is that like Camaranaco, a very wonderful, my most favoriteest, well, can't say it's my favoriteest, but it's one of the best healers that I know of. plant medicines in Peru, very giant tree, and drinking it is what taught me to sing and taught me to have the fortitude to be able to sing and continue. And you can just carry it through your whole body. You can carry it through to the future if you want, but it's very effective. Very, very effective. Man, so many
So,
plant medicines are.
yes. And so in your area, in your world, in your forest, is there a tree like that?
Mm, not really.
Mm,
No. Well, I mean, yes, there are trees that perform things, but not in the same way. Like
right.
there's a there's almost like a deep history in the Amazon.
Yeah.
Like there's a very deep history because everything in the Amazon, I'm sure you're aware, everything in the Amazon was planted. It's a garden. And even the dirt itself was put there so that plants would grow because it would have been a desolate desert,
Mm.
many, many, many years ago. But everything was planted. And that's why when I went there, I'm like, oh my God, this place is a garden. And then when I looked up the history, the biological history of the area, that's definitely what it is.
I did not know that. And so who were the people that planted those plants in garden?
All of the indigenous peoples.
So we're going thousands of years back.
Yeah, thousands upon thousands upon thousands. Like they, I think some of the evidence that the archaeologists found was they crushed up pots and then put them into the layer of the ground. Like they would make pots, clay pots, and then crush them up and then put them into the ground. And I can't remember what it's called. It's too bad. It's called Terra something.
Mhm.
I'm gonna I should have I should have had that here, but you guys could look it up. It's the certain kind of dirt that's in the Amazon rainforest
Um,
that allows those plants to grow. So the people, the animals, everything brought everything there and then promoted it. Like ayahuasca was promoted. The ayahuasca vine itself was promoted. And most vines, they have to be 150 years old to be used in an ayahuasca sacrament. They have to be very, very old. I know in Hawaii they get away with something that's maybe 40, 50 years old, but it's always better to have the super old, old stuff.
somebody on the thread has just suggested it's
Terra
Terra
preta.
Preta.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
that's what I said. I'm like, Terra something. Yeah, Terra preta. That makes so much
Terra
sense.
Preta.
That's the kind of earth that's fascinating. It's just fascinating to me because a colonizer, I can't remember who told the story, but a colonizer went into the Amazon and saw all of these wonderful and so many people and a whole civilization was there. And then they went back like 60 or 100 years and nobody was there. Like they were totally wiped out because they brought in smallpox, the Europeans,
No.
smallpox, and everybody died. Which you figure it's interesting because the medicine for malaria comes from the Amazon. Like the medicine that we would take to prevent malaria if we went to a place that has malaria. We that medicine was derived strictly from the Amazon. And it was a vaccine doctor that told me that. When I first went to get my travel vaccines, when I first went to Peru in 2013, and he's like, they take these pills, these come from the Amazon. And I'm like, what? And then when I looked up what that was, it was like that Camarinaco and all of those plants that I got to learn, they were all anti-malaria. And I was drinking them all. So I never took those. I think I took those pills maybe for 2 days. And then after that, there's no point. Like you're
You get the
drinking the
real,
medicine.
the real thing.
Yeah. Going for the real thing and then getting the dreams too.
Mm.
Yeah.
And does each plant give you different dreams?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I had one plant, Ayuma, in Peru. That was terrible. I mean, I didn't have bad dreams. I just had nothing. I was just empty. My eyes were always black. Like was so tired. And I'm like, what am I doing? I was in a tambo in the forest in
Yeah.
Peru, and I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I drinking this? Because if you drink something like bobinsana, and if anybody knows what bobinsana, it's one of the most loveliest dietas that you could do. You feel like you're baked, like stoned for the whole time you're drinking it. Like seriously, for 7 days straight, because I think I spent 10 days with that plant. And it taught me some beautiful music too, like
Mm.
stunning stuff. But I really, really like that plant a lot.
Would the feeling of stoned be like an absence of thoughts?
No, like completely elated and yay, wow,
Ah,
how wonderful the world is.
ah,
Say the worst thing to the in the world to me, and I'd be like, yeah, it's cool,
it's so
whatever.
beautiful.
It's like, yeah, it's terrible you feel that way. It's terrible. Oh.
Oh, we all need more of that, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
I could use some of that right now, actually. Oh, that's terrible. But
Ah,
the Tamamori, I think, was the best of the best. I it flushes the body when you drink Tamamori. It flushes the body, so the whole body is filled with blood. As it feels like blood is just at the tips of my fingers. So much blood. Like I was having some gingivitis, gum issues, and I was spitting blood. I didn't know there was anything wrong with me until I got back home and got to a dentist, but I was spitting blood. And then anytime anybody drinks it, if you're somebody who menstruates, you will menstruate instantly.
mm.
Even last year, there was a young girl who was like, Jasmine, I want to start menstruating. I'm like, don't rush it. I'm like, take your freedom and get out of here. She's like, no, I want to do this. I'm like, fine. So I gave her Tamamori because I get some of the herbs and then I keep some of the herbs and they're in a paste form and I get to mix them up. And I really like Tamamori. And this little girl, she started menstruating a month later. I told her, I'm like, why do you want this?
Yeah, did that make her happy?
Yeah, that's what she wanted.
That's what
She
she
wanted to
wanted.
grow up. And so
Yeah,
I'm like, well, you're almost like she was 12. Like you're
yeah.
almost it's almost time anyway, but why?
And is it different using these? So what do you use? Is it ayahuasca for opioid dependency, or is there another plant?
Mm, all of the other plants, all of them, even the trees that are in the boreal forest here,
Uh-huh.
use them all for opioid dependency and just you flick in and out. So the list that I had Cameronako, Tamamori, Shiwawako, Tawari, and I think there's three more that I'm leaving out right now. But you drink all of them. I think it's seven. You drink all seven. And if you have to, you come off one and or you go on to another, like you go on to your Suboxone if you have to, but then you go back to the plant medicine and you flip in and out. Now you can do that here with the trees in the boreal forest, or even in your guys' forest, any of the pine trees. Like you want to use the inner bark. So not the bark, but there's an area that's inside the bark called the cambium. You would use the cambium of the trees, but you want to get an older tree. And it's really sad to cut down beautiful trees, which I'm always reluctant about because it's my forest. But you can do that with many of the trees, and even for like birch, like you're familiar with paper birch. Yeah, so paper birch actually gets a compound that lots of people are using nowadays. There's xylitol in it, and it's a type of sweetener that you can sweeten a lot of your foods, but you can also brush your teeth with it. and it would help prevent infection in your teeth. This is just the way of it. This is just what we would have taught traditionally, and now people are employing it, which I think is totally perfect because then I get a whole bag of xylitol crystals that somebody so graciously, you know, rendered down, and I get to use it for brushing teeth or whatever you're using it for. Usually I give it to my son to put on his teeth. Well, my husband does. I found a different way now, especially with like things like hydroxyapatite, but I've never found that in nature yet. So, so
So
there's,
there are
mhm.
complementary medicines in the plants we find in the Amazon, and there are other ones in the boreal forest. And I just had no idea there were so many in the boreal forest.
Oh, there's so many. But most
Oh,
of the reason why is because many of the plants in the boreal forest, they are pioneer species. So they come up, like say there's a burn, and people are always sad when things burn, but not me, because the blueberries come up and that you want to go blueberry picking the next year where there was a fire. It's always the way it is. That's the only way blueberries grow is from fire. And then like pioneer species like poplar, birch, they would come up right away. And then there's another, smaller kind of bushes that would come up as well, those pioneer species. And then there's really old, like pine trees are very, very old. Like here is what we use for vision is white pine. And there's a ton of white pine here, and they're beautiful because there's so many paintings. Like I have it painted all over my house where I just painted white pines all over the place because they're so gorgeous. They're almost like they are reminiscent of bonsai trees, like how you would
oh.
have a bonsai tree, like a blowing kind of tree. Yeah, and these are just huge. They're billion years old. Okay, not a billion, maybe at
Really,
least
really old.
150. They're 150 years usually,
Wow.
many of these trees. So even though they're good for medicine, we wait until they fall of their own accord and then use their medicine that way.
Wow.
So to get white pine medicine is very tough. And it's really sad in the Amazon, they have slash and burns all the time. Like when
Mm.
we went there, I think 3, 4 times there were slash and burns, and I was just shocked. And then the next year I went there and it was totally grown up. I'm like,
Wow.
oh, so it doesn't really matter. Like everything grows so quickly there. They don't have seasons like we do here.
Mm.
Like if something gets burned here and blown down or is totally flattened, it takes years for it because we don't have the same growth cycle.
And is that the same as when they actually cut them down, which, some of these oil companies are doing? They're going into the Amazon and would it regrow as quickly, or is there something about the burning that makes them grow quicker, faster?
Well, yeah, the burning provides a lot of nutrients
Yeah.
as well, like a ton of them. In the boreal forest, it's different because this is more of a fire forest. That's why we have fir trees. They're fire trees.
Mm.
That's mostly like the pine trees. When you see a pine tree, there had to have been fire at one point, especially if they're it escapes me right now. There's only one tree that the cone opens only at high, high, high heats. Douglas fir. Thank
Oh,
you. Yeah, Douglas fir. They're very hard, hard cones, and they need super high heat. Like they need fire. We need fire where we
yeah,
are,
yeah.
and we get a lot of it.
And so you help people with opioid dependency, moving away from it, and also alcohol dependency. And is it a different formula that you use, different medicines for alcohol versus opioids?
It would be the same.
Ah,
It would be the same, but I always like to think of alcohol as a spirit, right? Like alcohol is spirits, but it's a terrible demon. It's a terrible demon that can take over your whole life. And I know that. personally, because I'm the healer. I only know that from my own experience, that it's a terrible demon and will take your whole family and take
Mm,
everything from you. And I'm sure opiates are the same.
mm,
It'll take whatever it can
mhm.
because it's very hungry. Like, for example, I was a bartender when I was 21 years old. And I was, okay, I'm just going to admit it. I was doing a bunch of cocaine. I was a bartender, 21 years old. Come
What
on,
else is there to do?
I
I
know.
don't
Somebody's
know.
giving you cocaine, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And like I would say, oh, I only did it maybe eight times. No, times that by 1,000. Like that's what it was. And so somebody would always line me up a line. Oh, there's one in the men's can, there's one in the women's can, there's one by the phone booth. And I'm like, okay, great. And then I would chase them there and I would get there. And then one day I went into work and this guy's like, hey, I have one lined up at the phone booth for you. And I'm like, you know what? I can't. And he's like, what? How? Why? I can't do that. And I'm like, I don't care. He was like in his 50s at the time, maybe late 40s. And I said, well, went to bed last night and there was a man in my head. And the man said that I was the most beautiful, wonderfulest, awesomest thing in the whole world and that I couldn't live without him. And I'm like, and it sounded like a demon to me because I was raised
Mm,
Catholic. So I have this kind of spiritual way of, I guess, looking at things. So when I felt that about that particularly abused medicine, what cocaine, then I saw that it was such a awful man. Why would he say that to me? Why would he say that? Why would anybody do that? Why? It's because it's a demon. And that's how I look at alcohol. Same thing. Like as bartender, you think I wasn't drinking? Of course I was drinking. Of course I was doing all the awful things. It's awful. It's awful. And it's hard to not succumb to it. We all do succumb to it
mm,
because it's just the way it is. There's only one group I think of either like it's an Asian group. I think they might be Chinese people that don't become affected by alcohol like everyone else. It's the
really?
only group. Yeah, they don't get addicted like everybody else because they have a certain type of gene. But everyone, like, it's the worst because people say to me, oh, all these Indigenous peoples in Canada, they're a bunch of drunks. And it's like, no, if you drank like that, and if you went through the trauma and you drink like that, you would be a drunk too. Nobody
Mm.
considers that, but that's the reality. There's only one group in the whole world that doesn't get affected in the same way.
So if you were able, obviously, to stop drinking like that, and was it a similar experience to the cocaine with waking up and hearing a voice?
There was a man in my head. Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and but the alcohol one, like AI is really great right now. You could look on YouTube and you can say, show me pictures of, and then they'll show you little monsters of cocaine and heroin
And
and
they're
little,
different?
yeah, of alcohol and what they look like. And it's pretty neat because it seems so like I sided with it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's totally cocaine. Oh yeah, that's totally heroin. Oh yeah, that's totally weed. Like
That's
it'll show you
fascinating.
everybody. It'll show you LSD. It'll show you all of the endogenous, no, exogenous compounds. It'll show you everything. It's really neat that somebody thought what I thought.
How do you
I don't,
explain that?
how do you explain that? I have no idea. I don't
Yeah,
explain it. I'm just
yeah.
like, well, we're all human. We all
They're all
think,
connected.
yeah, we're all connected. We're not, I think thinking we're separate is the illusion.
Mm. And so, wow, that's quite fascinating, actually. Mapacho, tell us about that.
Oh yeah, that's another one too. That's one they should have drew in that AI thing because it's a thing too. It is an independent, it's one of the most powerful healers on the planet.
Tobacco.
That's why, yeah, tobacco. That's why we put our tobacco down before we take our plants. I like to blow my tobacco. That's what I was taught. Juan
Mm.
Flores taught me you blow your tobacco and then you take your plants. Um, it's a funny thing because I don't want to say anything out of turn, but there is a lot of research about how nicotine, not tobacco, nicotine itself is a very powerful healer. And
Is
I'm like,
it?
yeah, very powerful. Like, for example, right now, my father-in-law is taking nicotine patches and he just cuts a nicotine patch and he puts it on his arthritic wrist, and he can move.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm serious. You try that. That's like, even my husband was the one who was like, "Oh, we'll get you some nicotine patches." I'm like, "What the hell do you want that for?" He's like, to heal him." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, duh, of
Mm.
course." And so it has many applications, like some people even say for autism. That's why I say I don't want to speak out of turn, because I don't want to get us in trouble.
We're
But
always in trouble.
okay, well, there is quite a few. There's a researcher that I watch on YouTube, and I can't remember his name. Doesn't matter. But nicotine, he talks about nicotine being a prevention and treats a number of diseases
Whoa.
like Alzheimer's,
Whoa.
MS, I can't even think of it, arthritis. Um,
Whoa.
what else did he say? Yeah, there's a number of neurological issues that it can remedy.
So the problem with the cigarettes, isn't it nicotine? Because it's so addictive?
No,
No?
it's the carcinogens,
Oh, I
right?
see.
The carcinogens, they say that nicotine itself is carcinogenic. And, I could sit and argue with a scientist about it, and they'll be like, well, we see that the spinal column is getting degraded due to the use of nicotine. And it's like, nicotine, or is it smoking or vaping, or those things are carcinogenic. They are, even
Mm.
vaping, like these are carcinogenic things.
Hmm.
Because if you even barbecuing, I know, sad thing, you barbecue something, you're burning it,
Uh-huh.
you're putting carcinogens on your food because it tastes
Uh-huh.
good.
Wow.
I know, and I'm sorry because people like charred food. I
They
get it.
do.
They do. I know. I know we've stopped doing those sorts of things. Like I don't even have a microwave in my house because I don't know. It's a Faraday box. Freaks me out. Freaks me out. Freaked my grandpa out too.
Yeah, not surprising. So what distinguishes mapacho as mapacho and not just
Oh,
tobacco?
oh. No, no, no. It's tobacco.
Okay, it's tobacco.
Okay, so Mapacho, Mapacho is the South American plant Nicotiana rustica. Nicotiana rustica came to North America on the East Coast, and Tabacum virginiana came the West Coast, and that came with colonization. Um, but the Nicotiana rustica came with indigenous peoples. So they would take the mapacho, and the Peruvians, from what I've seen, they have remarkable ways of preserving tobacco where you could actually walk from Peru to where I am now, central Canada, with preserved tobacco.
Mm,
It's a possibility because their preservation techniques are phenomenal.
mm,
So that's a real thing. Anyway, they did. So they found Nicotiana rustica in smoking pipes just south of where I am in the Spirit Mountains. kind of like the Fort Francis area, International Falls kind of area. And there's a lot of mounds over there, like indigenous mounds that well, one in particular, they found Nicotiana rustica in a smoking pipe, like the remnants of the carcinogens in the smoking pipe, which was absolutely fascinating. That's where I started my master's research. And then my professor took my project away and gave it to somebody else. That's the worst. Academia, not a fan.
Brutal.
Oh, it's brutal. It was the worst because you work for a whole year on something and then somebody steals
And
your
it's not
shit.
yours. Yeah.
Oh, and this guy's like, oh, you got to help me out. I don't got to help this professor. Oh, fuck that guy. Oh my God. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, but Oceana rustica can travel very long ways, is very tiny. Like, the Bible says the universe can fit in the grain of a mustard seed. No, the universe can fit in the grain of uh, tobacco seed. Tobacco seeds are so tiny, you wouldn't even know. You would have no idea. And they grow these giant plants, giant plants.
Wow.
Like even mustard's not as big as a tobacco plant.
Wow.
Yeah, fascinating. I mean, that's the biological side of me who's always really fascinated.
And it is the sort of the top of the list of healing properties of all the medicines.
What's at the top? Are you asking?
Tobacco.
Oh, tobacco is the master healer. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
it rules all of the other plants in the whole world.
Mm.
It is
Mm.
the plant that rules it all.
Mm.
Yeah. And so you have to respect it fully,
Yeah.
fully and wholeheartedly. Like people here, they like to put down Virginiana tobacco. And I'm like, don't put your tobacco down. It's poison because it was sprayed with shit. And the rustica, we don't do that. No, it's not sprayed with anything. It's just fermented.
Ah, I see. I
Yeah,
see. Wow.
fascinating. Or you could just grow it yourself and see what you get. It's a lot of knowledge to be able to produce tobacco in a really good way.
Wow. You have a lot of knowledge, Jasmine. It's all there.
Oh, oh,
And,
thank you. My
occasionally there's a name you don't recall. It's like, but you have thousands of names of things in your wonderful brain computer. So thank you for
I,
that.
I have too many. Like
Yeah.
I have too many. But one thing I wanted to show you guys um was my water. Jillian, I showed you this earlier.
Yes, your holy water.
Yeah, so I have just regular water, and I don't know if you can see
Just
the
a little
black
bit
cloud.
higher. Lift it a
What's
little bit
that?
higher. There we go.
Can you see like
Yeah.
the kind of the fungus in there? Oh yeah, you
There's a
can.
big blob of darkness in there,
Yeah,
something dark.
something dark. And I
You're
think
not
that
going to
was
want to drink that.
no.
No.
I had my son baptized in 2022, and this is the water that I saved from his baptism.
That's incredible. And
Why is
that,
it?
what makes it holy? How does it become holy water?
Oh, I don't know. He prayed on it. He put his intentions on it.
Ah,
So I think it has a lot to do with our intention. Like in Peru, we were
everything.
taught we take our water and we blow, put our intention on and be like, hey, please heal me. And then, Masaru Emoto. You're familiar with Masaru Emoto?
No. Oh, yes, yes, the Japanese
Yeah,
man. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, the
yeah.
Japanese guy who talked about the magic of water. Oh, he was fascinating. Fascinating. Anyway, Masaru Emoto passed away many years ago, but he has some pretty amazing things to share about water. So bless your water before you drink it,
Mm,
even before you give it to your animals or your plants or
mm,
anything in general.
mm.
We do the best we can with what we got. And that's what we got.
Yes, and it just, when you said that, it reminds me of just slowing down, just taking a moment to do that
Yeah,
in your
observe.
day makes such a difference.
It does. I think so.
It does. Tell me about Jesus as a master healer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So for a long time, I was kind of, I was raised Catholic, but what does that even mean? Like, I didn't understand up until I was 40 and I'm 41. Um, I didn't understand what that was. So I started watching these um Jesus stories, like childhood stories with my son.
Miracles?
Yeah, the miracles of Jesus. And I started watching them and I'm like, huh, those are fascinating.
Mhm.
So he was a healer and he healed all these people and got his power from God. And but that's what we do. And that's what in my head, I'm like, but that's what Maestro Juan Flores said to me. He said, you drink the plants because God is in the plants, and then you bring God into you. Boom. And so I'm like, so was Maestro Juan Flores about Jesus? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure this guy was more Christian than we would ever have. Like, he's Ashaninga and he follows his particular cultural way, but he very much loved the monk of Peru. Like, there was a
Mm.
saint of Peru, and he would follow him and read his books. And he read the Pista Sophia, and he read all of the Gnostic kind of gospels.
Mhm.
Like, he tried to read as much as he could, like collect as much knowledge as he could. And I find that so fascinating because one time, in front of one of the healers that graduated with Maestro, I said to somebody was asking after a ceremony, "Oh, so is there Christian flavor in whatever's going on here?" And I'm like, "Oh, totally. There's lots of Christian stuff." And then this master said, "No, this is not Christian at all." And I'm like, "Whoa, what do you mean?" Because I was raised a certain way and everything I saw looked like very Christian to me, very Christian. Like even the way we'd have a procession into the Maloka before everybody graduates is the procession he was holding, Maestro Juan Flores was holding an idol, like a Catholic thing. Like
Mhm.
idols are only a Catholic thing. They're not a Protestant thing at all.
Mhm.
So I was like, I'm pretty sure it is. And I just convinced myself last week that yes, he was very Christian. He was very much a Christian and not just, right? Like he talks about going to Jupiter and all the healers, the masters, when they die, they go to Jupiter and we subliminate and we go there and then we can communicate and continue to keep learning. Like he has all those stories too, but you learn that when you drink the medicine, when you drink Kamarampi, he called it ayahuasca. You learn all that stuff in the DMT world. There's a whole other stage of learning, but I think it's all Christ-like. It's all
Mhm.
so much Christ-like. Like the master healer, he is the master healer. Like I don't even know what else to say about it.
Mhm.
That's what I rely on when I try to help others and myself to heal is I pray and I ask for help and that's what I rely on. And a lot of people are like, no, that's not okay. We colonization. And I know I'm an indigenous person. I'm very well aware. Like my mother never went to residential school, but my grandfather went and he decided that he was going to build a school so his kids didn't have to go to residential school. So
Mm.
this Jesus said that there would be times when Christianity was knocked down and looked down upon. He said that in the Bible. He says it. He says, hey, there's going to be a time when everybody hates this. And I'm like, yeah, he's right. He said it because I started reading all like even the Pistis Sophia, and I started reading everything so that I could gain some of this knowledge that the maestro actually collected and preserved and kept within himself. It wasn't just that he learned. He was a perfumero, a tobacero. ayahuasquero. He was a master of all these things. And that's what his ceremony was all of those things together, being
Hmm.
a becero, a perfumero, an
What were
ayahuasquero.
what were the first two?
Well, I'm saying it like English, a perfumero, perfume arrow. So perfume. So he has a particular perfume that he uses in his ceremonies. He
Mhm.
has a particular, like the mapacho, he uses in his ceremonies. And then the Kamarampi is you got to master ayahuasca and chacruna to be an ayahuasquero.
Yeah.
So he did all of those things. And his when I when you go to one of his ceremonies or one of his students' ceremonies, they're in a certain way. Like there's a certain way we do the ceremony, but if you go to anyone else, like a Shipibo ceremony, they're going to be way different.
Hmm.
Like this was Maestro Juan Flores's ceremonies, which I like the best.
Hmm.
I like the
Hmm. Spoke
best
to you. Yeah.
because what he did is you trust the plants wholeheartedly to do their work. So if you were on dieta with like the Tamamori, you would have a certain experience and people would sing to you about that Tamamori medicine that you're drinking in that ayahuasca ceremony, in that Kamarampi ceremony.
Hmm.
And then they would call that plant into being. Like
Right.
they would try to kind of replicate it. And usually you only sing about a plant medicine if you drank the plant medicine. Like I sing about Tamamori. And if you drink Tamamori, then I would be able to invoke it in you. Yeah, that's the way it generally works. I mean, what I've seen from not just my experience, but from other people's experiences as well. I think that's a fascinating thing too, because I'm pretty sure other people do that as well, but they have a different way.
Mm. What you're saying makes me think, though, that all these different ways, could they be understood as different cultural expressions of the same thing, which is
Yeah.
love? I mean,
Yeah.
isn't it all about love and
Perfect.
dignity and respect and
Perfect. Just
allowing,
love.
yeah, just love.
Love is dignity and respect.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Love
the
is
master
like,
plan.
right, like the seven grandfather teachings or eight,
Mm,
like humility, that's a form of love.
hmm.
And courage, that's a form of love. All of those things, respect, that's a form of love.
Hmm.
They're all love. Yes, Maestro and Flores, all the ceremonies were definitely all about love.
Yeah,
And it's it sucks that I need a reminder all the time. I think we all do because
I
we
think
get
we all
caught up
do.
in ourselves,
Yeah, we do get caught up in ourselves and our things
our egos.
and our
Yeah,
egos. Yes, our
very
egos
much so.
need a lot of attention, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how we evolved, how you'd like to think we evolved, but we're still growing. We're still evolving. We're going to
We're
find
still
out
a
what
work in
this is.
progress.
Yeah, we're going to find out what this world's about at some point.
Who knows? Yeah, really, who knows? Um, and so I do want to ask you one more thing about the work that you do, but that's changing the subject slightly. So we're talking, this is our Wisdom Keeper series, and we're talking to you today about many things that you know and have learned, and that is a wisdom. I'm also curious about a wisdom that you have garnered from for yourself, for living your life that you have got from working with the plants. How would you talk about that?
Hmm. It's a tough question, Jillian. I
Sorry,
need an easier one. Just kidding, just kidding.
go for it.
Um, no, I think it's always a work in progress.
Mm,
It's always we're always I'm always trying to grasp for more. Like I want to be a master healer. Maybe not like Jesus or anything like that.
you never know.
Um, because I don't want to go through the same trials, although That's what a healer does. Like that's what
Mm,
I agreed to. I agreed to this, I think it was 2008, no, 2006, I think. I went into the bush, took off my shirt, and I'm like, "Okay, get me out of here. God, please get me out of here." Because I was in a really bad way. I was in a very abusive relationship. And the guy didn't think he was abusive, thought everything was totally peachy keen, and he probably still thinks he didn't do anything wrong. These people don't heal. I'm sorry. I don't know why. Um, but I asked God to get me out of here, and he said, "Fine, get you out of here, but you're gonna have to get sick forever." And I'm like, "What does that mean?" And it took me up until just a few years ago to realize that to be a healer, you have to know how to heal. Like you have to be able to heal. Like somebody with diabetes cannot heal. They're having a really hard time, like metabolically. They can't heal a scab. That's the worst. Like my son scrapes his elbow riding his bike. I hope to God he can get a scab because some people don't get scabs and some people can't recover. So I think the most important thing is to learn how to be a good healer. Feed your body well, sleep well, do what you need very well, as much as you can. And I think that's the total goal for me
mm.
is to learn how to be a good healer because what else you got? Like my father-in-law is sick right now. It wasn't his goal to learn how to be a good healer, but man, he could really learn some awesome stuff if he,
Chooses.
yeah, if he would get out of his own way, he would be able to learn how to be a master healer of cancer. Like
Mm,
that would be a phenomenal thing. That would
mm,
be amazing. Like to heal a metabolic disorder like diabetes. That would be phenomenal. And how do you do that? Well, I know how. You eat traditional food. Like you don't eat stuff from the store, pick and choose, but you would eat very well. Like eating traditional food, like here, people would eat beaver, or they'd eat muskrat, or they would eat bear, or they would eat deer. So there'd be a lot of variety because there's a ton of variety where I am physically. There's a ton of variety. Like the fish in the north is like sturgeon. Have you ever had sturgeon? I had
mm.
sturgeon at a fancy restaurant
I don't think so.
where we had like I think 24 tapas, they call it. Like you go to the place where you wash yourself and you do everything and then you go and have your tapas and they're like you can eat all these tapas and you can have as much as you want afterwards, but you have to eat all these. So we ate all of them. And but I got the sturgeon and I'm like, I need another sturgeon. So they gave me another sturgeon and it was like the best thing ever. It's a type of
Mm,
fish. It's a type of ancient
mhm.
fish.
Ancient
Like
fish, yeah.
they used to throw them in the like where I am on Lake of the Woods, they used to throw them in the steam engines because they're so full of really good oil.
Mm.
Really good oil is sad. They used to just burn them. Terrible, terrible. But that's where caviar comes from. It's from sturgeon, farmed sturgeon. So,
So you've had illness, you've had your own illness that's come, and did that start after you just chose to be a healer?
yeah,
That's what you're telling us, that
yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
that, oh my gosh.
Oh my God, it's terrible. It's a terrible thing because I didn't believe God when he told me that. I didn't even
Mm.
believe that I was talking to God. I could have been talking to some whoever, to some, I don't know. I have no idea. I could have been talking to anybody, but I'm pretty sure it was God now.
Would
He's
you
like,
be
well,
able to share with us what that has been, what that is, and how that's been for you?
I don't have an is.
You pardon?
I don't have a illness.
You don't have a diagnosis.
No, I don't have a no. No, I had a prognosis in 2011, 2012. The doctors believed that I would get MS once I got older. Yeah. Which is really, a really shitty thing to hear when you're a young person.
Mhm.
Um, I broke down. I broke down in front of the doctor, and she's like, "Well, it's not right now. Have a lot of vitamin D." And so that's why I went to Peru.
Ah,
That's that's what triggered it. Yeah.
mm,
That's why and that's why all of it
mm,
is that you're gonna be totally screwed and have a really hard life for the rest of your life. And God told me that in 2000, whatever, six, seven.
mm.
And then the doctor says, well, you got a really shitty MRI. And what do you do?
Well, so what have you done? You went to Peru, and
Yeah,
how would you describe how that has supported you?
almost everything that we've talked about here is all of it.
Mm,
And that's how it's supported me. Go on dieta, eat well, be well, sleep well, live well. That's as much as you can do
mm,
for anything, for everything, for anyone. So helping others to heal has been a big part of what I do
mm.
for a living,
Beautiful.
like helping other people recover from diabetes or because that's recoverable. That's what's so frustrating is that's 100% recoverable, but MS is not. That's what they say. And then you read about all of the research and everything that's going down. Um, that's arguable as well, debatable. It's all healable.
And so, do you still have those MRIs?
No,
And are you feeling well? And you've also had a child in that time. Has that
I did.
depleted you? Were they warning you
No,
not to? Like, how's you've just done what you need to do for you,
yeah, and it's
including
been
being a
good.
mother.
Yeah, that's a tough thing because he's a boy and you got to chase them, of course. Chase them around, a lot of fun. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You just got to keep positive as much as you
Mm,
can. Got to keep moving, got to keep going, keep smelling the flowers. Yeah, and learn how to be a good healer.
mm.
That's why you need to nourish. You need to everything. You need to nourish everything, and you can. I can. We can. Yeah, everyone can.
So your healing is totally intertwined with healing, other
Yeah.
in your world, in your life.
Yeah, everything is all one thing. It's all one thing. That's why it's a like when you spoke my biography, I'm like, oh yeah, I did do all those things, and but it's this wonderful container that I put in myself. Yeah, it's this wonderful, yeah, I'm a wonderful containment unit for being a master healer. That's what I want. That's why I still
Mm.
follow Jesus. That's why I show you guys the holy water from my son's baptism, and I'm like, whoa, how is that? Because I didn't pray on that other water, and it's moldy.
Powerful, powerful stuff. And just have to get back to the diabetes because it's actually
Oh
such a
yeah,
common thing for people, and I don't want to pass it by. So
please
tell
don't.
us about how you help with people with diabetes, what you suggest.
Well, I created a program for this tribal council, this First Nations council in the northern communities where I work, and I don't have to physically go there anymore. Um, what I did is we use the plant medicine in teas to help to recover from type 2 diabetes. And it seems silly. It seems like, oh, we're just playing. Like a lot of people would say, oh, you're just playing. It's like, no, no, you just got to drink those plants, and you just got to have the knowledge to be able to drink those plants. So what we did, I'm just going to whip out some of my work right here. I spent a lot of time. I wrote this book.
Can't quite. Oh, Boreal Forest Summer.
Yeah, Boreal Forest Summer, for the exploration of medicinal plants.
Ah,
And so in this book, I wrote for the First Nations. I talk about all of the plant medicine, like this plant medicine on the can't really see it, but
it's
that's
beautiful. What is it?
pitcher plant.
Hmm.
Pitcher plant, it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. And you can cook up the whole thing and use it as a plant tea.
Hmm.
But that's what I talk about, all the plants, the boreal, the bulrush, sweet gale, all of these plants, most of these plants, they lower blood sugar.
Mm.
They spend blood sugar. They spend sugar. And if you're going to go out to
Mm.
pick a lot of these plants, they're going to lower blood sugar because you're going out spending that sugar to pick the plant, to drink the plant,
Mhm.
and it's going to lower, but it's going to maintain it if you can maintain a good way of living every single day. Oh, you want my book? Somebody wants my
That's a
book.
great question, Carolina. Thank you. Is your work
I'm,
accessible? Where can we purchase this book?
you know what? I am. So the First Nations Council where I work, I'm going to just show it there. Uh,
Hmm.
I've tried.
Maybe we'll post that a little later. Or
Well, you're not gonna be able to get a hold of them or access them or get these printed. So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna get Amazon, because Amazon, there's a way to print to go. And I'm gonna get my boss's permission, my employer's permission to release these books. I just need her to tell me yes, because
okay,
I wrote it for her.
so for Carolina, who would like one, maybe we could take your contact, Carolina, and let you know how this all works out with printing more.
That would be lovely because I've
Okay.
tried to get this book printed for the treatment center that I work at, and I've just had to straight up photocopy. I've had to photocopy every single page for everybody. Um,
Well, Christina works as, sorry, Carolina works as a naturopathic doctor in Windsor and works with plants, and she would love that. So I'm going to see, yeah, I can copy that. And so I'm copying your email. Thank you. Oh, maybe I can't off the chat. I'm going to ask our support team to do that while I continue to talk to you. And so back to diabetes.
oh yeah.
Cinnamon? The cinnamon, where
Oh
does that
yeah.
from?
Cinnamon was the first medicine Juan Flores taught me. It lowers blood pressure and lowers blood sugar.
Wow.
Like instantly. I had a lady in Casablanca. I was in a First Nation, and they think I'm playing with plants. Yeah, sure, I'm playing, sure. And so she drinks my cinnamon tea, and she's comes back to me. She's mad. Well, obviously, rightfully so, because her blood sugar was at 2. Well, she continued to take her metformin, which lowers her blood sugar,
Yeah.
and she drank the tea. And I'm like, what do you think is going to happen? You can't do both of those things. You don't need your metformin if you drink this tea. You don't need this tea if you take your metformin. Like, it's one or the other. Metformin can be used for other things too. It's anti-cancer from what I'm seeing lately in the research. But yeah, cinnamon tea was the first tea that I learned, and is very effective. And I give it to everybody. It works very, very well.
And is there just every day? Like, what's the What do you suggest? How much do people drink?
Well, if you are on metformin and you're taking it to lower your blood sugar, you drink it every day, like at least twice a day, but
Okay.
you want to have a meal with it. Like, or if you want to make your meal kind of inert, then drink cinnamon. It'll balance the meal out.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
so if you don't want the sugar to, because it changes the way sugar works in your body.
Okay, that's
People can look,
beautiful.
people can look up the research about it, but there's some phenomenal research about the cinnamon compounds. And it doesn't matter which cinnamon you're using because you're not going to drink enough of it. Like I just get the cinnamon curls, like the pieces of bark, and then I just make a pot of tea with that. And I drank that for maybe, I think it was 10, no, 6 months. I drank it every day, had always had a pot on my stove. And then I went to go eat a cinnamon bun. Didn't taste like cinnamon.
Because it's not.
I ate too much cinnamon. It was the worst.
Oh, that's so funny. Well,
Yeah, but so now I moderate myself, of course. Um, and then other things that I do for like there's a lot of plants out there like that, like cinnamon that can drop blood sugar, like these very astringent plants that are in the kind of swampier areas, which would be in the Windsor area as well. It's just they're going to have a little bit more things. Uh, there's very, if they're really bitter or really, uh, I'm trying to feel it in my mouth and describe what the word is. It's drying, very drying kind of feeling. Like there's a berry here, we call it choke cherry, but I think it's called black choke berry. Black chokeberry. It's very bitter, but it's super high in uh, phyto, not anthocyanins. It would have that as well, but very, very powerful polyphenols. Thank you. Yeah, lots of polyphenols, and those help prevent cancer and help protect against cancer. Yeah, you want to have very, very good, very colorful foods in general. You want very color, everything colorful.
do you have
Like,
a website, Jasmine, that people could
you know
go
what
on to and read about you and all these incredible things that you know?
I should get a website.
You should get a website.
I I used to have a website and I didn't keep up with it um because I had no reason to, but you just gave me a reason to. And even the book gives me a reason to. It's probably
That's a
a good
beautiful book.
idea because nowadays everybody's focusing on this, on different ways of nourishing to help
Absolutely.
prevent the
Oh,
cancer. Like,
totally. I mean, I was going to say the word alternative, but really the original ways of healing and being
yes.
healthy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think it's alternative anymore. I think it's just the way that we have to live. Need to live very well,
yeah.
very well.
So we have to close now. We only have a
No
couple of minutes
way.
left. Way. And anything you'd like to say to complete the wonderful time we've had together?
Um, when we chatted in the first place talking about this webinar, like what we were talking about then was kind of like the framework of what we're talking about now, but they get so very variable. They're always so different, and I just wish I could talk and yeah, I wish I could just keep going and going and going because I can. I got
Well, you
every
can, and we'll have you back, and we'll talk about other things of the many things that you know that will be helpful for people, and
well,
let's talk about that later on in the year.
that would be lovely. I
Yeah.
would enjoy that, of course.
Okay.
And if people like to listen to me, oh my God, maybe I will have website, like you're saying, like what would I have a website for? It would just say all the crap that I just said.
Well, you have some, this Carolina is a big fan, just so you know. And she's saying, of course, you would have a website so you can have podcasts. Think of it. You could have a dozen podcasts
Oh,
about all these different things that you know. And then people are benefit greatly from that. You just have to focus on that. That's the reason to do it. A lot of people would like to find you and dive into the podcast about opioid dependency or about diabetes. And as Carolina says, there aren't many plant people here in Windsor, LOL. Surprise, surprise. So this is a great service that you could do for humanity, Jazmin. Just
I
think
mean,
about that,
that's the only reason.
that you exist. Exactly.
Because I don't know anything else. I mean, this is
You
all I
don't
got.
need to know anything else. You get a
No.
teenager to set up your website and you're in business.
Oh man. Okay. Hook me up with a teenager.
Okay.
That would be
So,
lovely.
so I'm going to close now because I have to. Thank you for your wisdom, for your knowledge, and for your courage and your beautiful voice. Thank you,
Oh,
thank you, thank you.
thank you so much.
And I have a few things to say, which I actually forgot to say in the beginning, which is the Psychedelic Association. We exist to steward an evolution of well-being. And our vision is people living in harmony with each other and nature. And our mission is to collaborate and advance access to psychedelics. Our values are love, courage, communication, integrity, impact, and sustainability. And I think you've demonstrated all of those wonderful things today, Jazmin. And um, please, we're going to take a break over the summer, July and August, and we will begin again in September. On September the 21st, we have a conversation coming up with Jaime Alvarez Acosta, and he comes from a very ancient lineage in Peru, with working with the medicine Wachuma. And he's a wonderful guy, very interesting, very fun, and his knowledge is really vast on the subject of human beings, Wachuma, healing, all the things that we love to talk about. So please join us on the 21st of September. Promise that we'll talk to Jazmin about coming back later on after that in the year, maybe in November. And we are going to encourage her to get her website up and running. We've got another minute. Is there another song that comes into your heart to sing to us?
Uh, thro thrown for a loop here.
Or just the one you sang in the beginning because it was so lovely?
Yeah, I heard my son in the background. He was like, "Oh, mom," he said while I was singing. Um, Coranorondei, coranorondei, cora to to to, cora to to to. Ike mane pawane, pawane. Ike mane pawane, pawane. Coranorondei, coranorondei, cora to to to, cora to to to. Ike mane pawane, pawane. Ike mane pawane, pawane. Pawane, pawane, pawane. Ike mane pawane, pawane, pawane.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful summer, everybody. See you in September. Bye for now.